once. Okay, now we know how it works. That's kind of great. So yeah, we are live on YouTube now, and we thought we were live on YouTube for the last 5 minutes, but we weren't. So we get to do that over. So hey guys, it's good to see you all. And yeah, so we're going to talk about, is cruising worth it in 2025, 2026? So yeah, I mean, obviously we're a cruise channel. We love to cruise. And I think that it's safe to say that we think cruising is still worth it. But there's a lot of people out there that have some, some beef with the cruise lines for particular reasons. They don't like some of the changes that are being made in cruising. And yeah, so there's some people out there that don't think it's worth it to still take a cruise in 2025, 2026. We're going to discuss some of those reasons. We're going to talk about some of the reasons that we still think it is worth it to cruise nowadays. And but before we do all that, Emily has an amazing book that you guys need to check out. And frankly, you need to buy it. You just simply need to buy it. It's a great gift. It's a great book for you to take on your next cruise. Don't wait. The link is in, I'm assuming the link is in the comments or is in the description. So yeah, Emily, take it away.
Yeah, so this is the book. I'm just trying to see, did we, my live stream is a little bit lagging. Oh, look at that. We figured out how to make it so it's right. Is it right side? No, wait. Never mind. Sorry, it's still backwards.
But get on with it.
Yeah, so this is the ultimate cruise planner. And, one way to help make your cruise worth it in 2026 is to plan for it, to budget everything, to make sure that you're getting the best deal and you're getting what you want. And that's what this helps you do. Not just for the cruise itself, but also for the airfare, the reservations that you make with the hotel, the stuff that you have to buy ahead of time to make sure you have all of your cruise essentials. So yeah, this is a great book to help you get every bit of worth out of your cruise. And it also has a journal section so you can remember your cruise and relive those memories later on. So yeah, there is a link in the description there, and check that out. It helps support our channel, and it helps you get the most out of your cruise. So
awesome. So yeah, definitely pick up the Ultimate Cruise Planner. It is a perfect gift. It's a perfect book to take on your cruise. It really does help in so many different ways, and it's also a great hint to give to your loved one for Christmas. Give them that book for Christmas, and then they'll kind of know that you just, what you want really for Christmas is for them to book you a cruise. It's a great hint book. We are going to talk about, go ahead.
Well, so I think in our second intro here, we forgot to mention we are on split screen. So yeah, Robert mentions we figured out the split screen. Yeah. We wanted redemption. We are in the same house right now. We're not. I'm not out of town, but we decided we should still give it a try. If it didn't work, I was going to bail and go sit next to Joe. But yeah, seems to be working okay. If you have any comments on how the sound is coming through or anything like that, let us know in the comments. But I think we might have figured it out. So
yeah, thank goodness.
Which is going to be handy in future live streams. So
today the subject matter is cruising still worth it in 2025, 2026? And so I like to start on the positive. I'm going to start off with a reason that cruising is still worth it in 2026. And this one, is personal to me because I'm a guy that likes to eat, maybe a little bit too much sometimes. But,
hang on one second. So we got a comment. Robert said that your audio is a little fuzzy for Joe. I don't know if you can maybe adjust the microphone or anything, but I just thought I was mention that.
Well, that is too bad, but I think I am just going to go with it. Folks, tell me if you can't understand me, but hopefully it'll work itself out. I think I've got the mic in the right place.
Actually, whatever you just did.
Yeah, I just moved it a little bit. That helped.
Okay.
So anyway, as far as a reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025 is the unlimited buffet bliss. So when you're at home, you go to the kitchen and you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have that cookie. I probably shouldn't have, a little bit more to eat. I probably shouldn't have that snack. But on a cruise ship, it's all about, the midnight shrimp, right? You head up to the buffet, you had a few drinks, and you go get a slice of pizza at midnight. You go get some shrimp at midnight, and you don't feel too bad about it, right? Because you're on vacation, you're on a cruise, so that kind of gives you permission, at least most of us, to go ahead and get something extra to eat when you're on the cruise ship. And for me, no matter what the naysayers are saying about cruising, I think that's a great reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025. What do you think, Gab? Is my audio working?
Yeah, it's better. I don't know what you did. It got really good for a second, and then it's there's just
All
a
right.
tiny bit of static on my from what I'm hearing,
Okay. Well, we'll just keep going.
but
Let me know if it's bad.
okay, it's understandable for sure. So,
Okay.
but as far as the food goes, absolutely. I mean, it's so nice to just to be able to get whatever you want. I mean, it's maybe not whatever you want. There's certainly times where you say, "Oh, I want some popcorn," and they're like, "No, you got to pay for that." But you can get pretty much anything at all times of the day, and I really do enjoy that. And it's some people argue that the quality of the food has gone downhill. And I know, like in the heyday of cruising, not only would you have cocktail shrimp cocktail, but you would have like mountains of carved fruit, and you would have filet mignon steak at every meal, and all these things. So I've been told. But honestly, in the last 10 years, I think the quality has been pretty good. Maybe not like cream of the crop for everything, but overall really good quality food and such a good variety. So you can always find something that you enjoy on a cruise. Um, and just the fact of it's there, ready made, waiting for you at all times. I personally don't have a buffet line in my kitchen. And when we get home from a cruise, I even just like a salad bar. It's like, oh, I've got lettuce, but I don't have everything else chopped up. So,
Yeah.
that's kinda boring.
Yeah,
Um
one of the things that people like will say that maybe cruising isn't worth it in 2025 is because back in the day, you used to be able to get, the most, top rated 5-star meals, at all times. That was included. Everything was all inclusive. There wasn't all this specialty dining. There wasn't the extra charges, the nickel and diming that's going on. That is definitely a complaint that some people have about current cruising. But there seems to be technical difficulties. Your pillows
you
are
just were
falling all
really
over the place.
loud, so I closed the
Oh,
door,
close the
so
door. So anyway, that is one complaint that people have about cruising these days. And Emily just kind of gave an argument that hey, the food's still pretty good. Still feels pretty special to be on the ship. But I guess I can even we've been cruising for several years now, and I can even see some differences that have been made. Like when we first started cruising, the menus in the main dining were way more extensive than they are now. The cruise lines are trying to become more efficient,
mhm.
probably mostly so that they can make more money, but also for the sake of food waste, which I understand it's not good to waste food. So that makes a little bit of sense. I will say I can understand if people were used to one level of dining and then they nowadays it just seems like a completely different game.
Mhm.
I think it also brings the price of cruising down when they make those changes in the dining room. So that's a plus. But that's a reason that some people are like, forget cruising. The food's not like it used to be. So I can kind of see that point of view. But I'm more on the side of it's still a very special experience to be on a cruise ship. And the dining is still pretty good. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, if you are one of those people that, is saying, "Hey, I remember when it was like this, and it's not like that anymore." Well, I guess we can't speak from personal experience, but if you go on, like, Silver Seas, one of the high-end luxury cruise lines, I'm guessing that the quality is still that good, that you still have that all-inclusive, unlimited, top line food on everything. So, there is still that option out there. It's just that, like you said, Joe, all these changes that they're making, it's more efficient, it's reducing food waste, and it's also reducing the cost of cruising. So the cruise lines are able to offer the fares at a lower cost, which allows more people to experience cruising. So it's I mean, it's a little bit of a, half a dozen of one and six of the other. It's like you can't have it both ways where you're always getting the most expensive of everything and keeping the prices really low. So, um, but yeah, I don't know. Just my 2 cents. Robin said you hit the nail on the head. I miss how it was. MDR on Norwegian is just not worth going. I just enjoy the buffet. And yeah, sometimes it does feel like there's a lot of effort put in to go to the MDR, and it just takes so long to get your food. And you're like, I could just go to the buffet and get something that's basically as good without all this trouble and everything. And
Good
that option is there.
good news for people that are a little bit sour on how Norwegian has changed in the last years is that Norwegian just got a new CEO,
No.
and he is coming from, I think, Azure Cruise Line, which I think is like a higher end cruise line. So hopefully he's gonna understand that something that the current or most recent NCL CEO didn't, is that people don't want to pay more for less. People don't want to pay more for less. They don't want worse dinners and have to pay more money. They don't want their packages prices to go up. They don't want to have to pay for a drink package and then another drink package for the private island that they stop at.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and I know that NCL is already making like changing back their old drink package. What is it called? Free at sea, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
they went and said more at sea, where they went that they charge you more and give you less. And everybody was like, "Wait a second, we're on to you." And then they're like, "Never mind, we're going to change it back." So, but they still, I think they're holding true to the $5 for even a second entree, right? They're not walking that back.
yeah, I haven't heard that that's getting walked back, but this change of CEO just happened. So I
Mhm.
hope that he just kind of reviews, because a lot of like the changes that happened in the last couple of months on NCL were all terrible. They were all just terrible, and nickel and diming people, charging for room service, and they were limiting the room service to only two items. I can't even remember the exact specifics on it,
Yeah,
but like when you got a breakfast, you couldn't get orange juice, a sandwich, and a piece of fruit. You had to just limit it to like two, or I don't remember the exact thing, but it was
well,
something
no,
like that.
you're right. You did remember it, right? And I was actually reading more about that. And one of the things people were griping about is that some people were like, okay, fine, I'll just place like 5 orders at once so I can get everything I want for everybody. But I
Yeah,
guess they put like you couldn't keep ordering, like you had to wait a certain amount of time. And that's just a little ridiculous. I bet you that when it went to like actually put that into practice, I bet you that wasn't even actually happening. Probably the waiters or whoever delivers it is like, hey, don't worry, I will put, I'll put this extra stuff on your tray. We just won't
yeah,
we won't tell anybody.
yeah.
So
It's crazy. So NCL, let's make some good choices. So anyway, another reason that, and I really love this one actually. Another reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025 and going into 2026, of course, soon here, is the people watching paradise. Thousands of strangers on one ship. It's the ultimate free reality show. I love that. That's kind of how it feels. Worth it for the endless entertainment of spotting mullets, matching family shirts, and poolside dance offs. That is like, that kind of puts perfectly one of the really fun aspects of cruising for me, and that is, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Like, you're either one of two kind of people. You're either the person that is actually one of three kinds of people. You're the type of person that is just stays in your stateroom when you're on a cruise and enjoys the views of the ocean and maybe gets a lot of room service, or you're a person that gets out on the dance floor, is joining in all the activities, doing the different competitions and the different uh, quizzes and trivias and dance offs. And then you're the type of person like Emily and I that just kind of walk around the ship and watch all of the extroverted people do the dance offs and stuff like that. But it's like, like the people watching is second to none. You've got a cruise ship full of people from all different walks of life, all different personality types, and you can just leave your stateroom and walk around the ship and just watch people, and you meet new people. There's all kinds of things like that going on, but that's a really fun aspect of cruising, is just like enjoying seeing other people enjoy themselves. It's really fun. People are smiling and laughing. Cruises, for the most part, are nothing but kind of good vibes. So that's a really great reason to still cruise in 2025, if you ask me. Makes when I think about that, just leaving the stateroom and walking around the ship, people watching, it makes me want to get on a cruise ship.
I was thinking, there's all these different types of competitions that go on the Lido deck, and I was actually just remembering, because a picture just popped up a few days ago to remind me, when your phone is like, "Hey, remember how this happened a little while ago?" Do you remember the ship building contest that we had on our Australian cruise?
I do.
And we actually weren't planning to go see it. We just happened to be walking around. There was a huge crowd around the pool on the Lido deck, and we were like, "What's going on?" And it was like 3 or 4 people deep of people crowding over the pool to watch what was going on. And you had all these teams that had spent the last like 2 weeks building a little miniature ship, and the test was how long could it float, and they were putting spoons in it, and they were counting like 1 spoon, 2 spoon. I think the winner got up to like 60 spoons or something before it
Yeah.
capsized. So that was really a fun thing to watch, and everybody's really getting into it.
It was crowded, man. People really get into it. People were just lined up around the pool, like 3, 4 people deep, trying to get a peek at these floating ships in the pool. It was a really fun event. That's another thing. Like you get when you walk around the ship, there'll be like the beanbag toss, some people call it, or cornhole toss, whatever you call it, going on, and it becomes like a National Football League game. It's like there's crowds cheering for their favorite person, and so you can either be the person that's in it, like trying to compete for the trophy that you're going to get at the end, or you can just be in the audience just cheering on your favorite person down there during
Yeah.
beanbag toss. That's another super fun aspect of cruising that you don't really think about when you're go leading up to a cruise, or even when you leave the cruise. But when you're in the moment, you're just on the cruise ship on vacation, enjoying whatever is happening around you. And those sporting events, there's the free throw. We've stopped and watched like the free throw
The
basketball
basketball.
competitions,
Yeah.
the putting, the mini golf, all that kind of stuff becomes like the ship just kind of, the people on the ship coalesce, and it becomes like a big event. So that's a really fun aspect of cruising.
You know the thing about those basketball competitions, and maybe it's just because I don't play basketball, but everybody seemed to know the rules just intuitively. I didn't ever see anybody explain them, but they had this free throw competition where they had 2 balls in play, and I think that the point was to try to like knock out, like it was basically whoever had the ball, you're trying to get a basket before the other guy, and then you got so many shots or something, and then you had to give it up. And
We watched it for like 15 minutes, and by the end of it, we had it figured out.
yeah.
I don't really remember at this point though, but yeah, it was a cool game. It's hard to make a basket on a cruise ship because the cruise ship's moving around. So by the time while your ball is in the air in flight, the cruise ship has shifted direction, and
Yeah.
so it's probably not going in.
Yeah.
That's been my experience at least. So another let's see, another reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025 is the port hopping perfection. Sure, you just get hours in each destination, but that's the beauty. It's curated highlights only, no boring museums unless you want them. Worth it for the teaser trailer of places you'll book full trips later. And that's true. I mean, we've talked about, hey, let's just go to St. Thomas for like 2 weeks. We've talked about that. We haven't done it, but I've kind of come around on just staying on the ship, or just taking more cruises, and because that feeling of getting off the ship for the first time in a new port, or even a port you've been to before, walking down the gangway, coming out, you're surrounded by the palm trees, you've got the ocean breeze, you've got the hot Caribbean sun, but not too hot. You're going to be snorkeling in a few minutes. You've got beaches everywhere you look, beautiful people, tropical music going on. That whole feeling is like just inexplainable. It's amazing. I love that feeling of walking off the ship into that tropical paradise, and enjoying the day. And most for the most part, no matter what kind of person you are, there's shopping. If you're a person that loves shopping for unique things, if you like to eat, there's tons of restaurants with amazing food. All kinds of beers and things like that that you can try out. If you like to swim, there's the ocean, and unlike on the cruise ship, sometimes the pool's crowded, and ocean's pretty big. You're usually going to find a spot that's not so crowded on the beach where you can go take a swim. If you like to snorkel, you can see some amazing fish. And then you do that all day long. You just have a blast. You go back to the ship, and then you wake up the next day and you're at another tropical destination. And it's got, slightly different things. It's still just tropical paradise, but it's got a slightly different culture, different shops to stop in, different restaurants. I don't know. That port hopping experience is a reason for sure to continue to cruise in 2025 and going into 2026. What's your take, Em?
Well, you say you like going to a different port every day, but and I agree. I definitely agree. But I think our favorite, or one of our favorite cruises, was when we went to Bermuda, and we were actually there for 2 nights. So we had 3 days, part of the first day, the full second day, and then part of the third day. And that was really fun, because the first day we kind of got our bearings, figured out, what was in the area. We took a shuttle to a beach, and I believe I actually cut my foot really bad on coral at that beach, and had to hobble up the beach trying not to get any sand in my cut before I could get a band-aid on it. But still, it was a fun time. And then we rented a moped, and we were able to go around the entire island of Bermuda. And just being able to, uh, we already kind of had the lay of the land. So the second day we really got to maximize that. Um, and we're actually going to be going on an overnight. Our next cruise is going to be an overnight in Cozumel. So I think that'll be fun, because it'll be kind of a similar experience. We can check it out. We've actually been to Cozumel before, so we kind of have an idea. But you can check it out, uh, and then you can. Um, sorry, I'm distracted because when Joe gets close to the screen, it picks up my voice. I get an echo. So I was wondering if that would be an issue. Um, but yeah, you can check it out, and then the next day you go back and have even more fun. So I think that's a really cool thing, is when cruise lines offer overnights, and um, I wonder if that'll be something that they offer more of in the future. But just want to give a shout out to Alice that just joined us a little bit ago. So hey,
Yeah.
Alice, nice to see you. Um, and then Robin says, however, the ports are now often overcrowded, which I think was a point that Joe was going to get to in just a bit here. And those darn ports of call to their private property. Um, I love port hopping, but the Caribbean has almost become a no-go for me. And I mean, that's a good point, that the private islands, um, I think that the private islands that are included, like Coco Cay and Labadee and Princess Key, those are all great. But there's like Celebration Key for Carnival, which it's like sort of included, but you don't get just unlimited food and drinks. It's not like just sit back and relax and you're basically on a cruise ship, but you happen to be on the island. It's like you got to think about how you're going to pay for things. And now they have the one in Nassau, the Royal Caribbean one. I can't remember what it's called, but Joe was just talking about how um, Royal Caribbean swapped a bunch of ports that were supposed to go to Cozumel, and now they're going to Nassau, and everybody's like, "You're just trying to force us into your private island."
Yeah, the private island, the barrier to entry is $170. Otherwise, you're just going to Nassau.
Yeah,
That's what I understand anyway.
yeah,
So they're
that's
trying to get
crazy.
that.
That's
Yeah. So anyway, yeah,
$170 per person. I mean, that's a
that better
hotel.
that better
That's a
that
room
better
in a
be great.
hotel. So
Yeah. So yeah, to respond to Robin's comment, overcrowding is one of the reasons that people are saying that it's not worth it to cruise in 2025 going into 2026. Overcrowding at the ports and overcrowding on the ship, and I can see that point to a degree. uh, we were talking a little bit earlier about how cruise ships are generally the last, I don't know, 10 cruises we've taken, I feel lucky to be able to say that, have been probably full capacity. Maybe one of them or one or two of them weren't, but for the most part, when you get on a cruise these days, it's going to be 100% capacity, or at least really close to it. And so the pool, the restaurants, the spa, all the different amenities on a cruise ship are going to be booked, and they're going to be full of people enjoying themselves. And so, going on a cruise, you are going to have to, at at this point in life, expect there to be a lot of people. And when it comes to the ports, more and more ships are coming into ports. And so, yeah, ports are getting crowded, especially the areas right when you walk off the ship.
Mhm.
So my advice to beat that is to take a $20, $30 cab ride to a beach that's 5, 10 miles away, and there's not going to be hardly anybody there. It's going to
Yeah.
be a way better experience. You're going to have less people trying to sell you stuff. You're going to have plenty of space, and you're going to really enjoy that tropical paradise. And if you're a person that likes to do excursions, cruise ship excursions, that takes you away from that initial place right off the ship. So the overcrowding can be overcome if you just take a little bit of a cab ride away from the cruise port. That does add a little bit of expense to your port stop, but I think it's definitely worth it because we've certainly noticed the crowds too. Although I'll say, like, we've gone to Amber Cove and Porta Plata a few times where it's right off the cruise ship and they've kind of built a resort for you right when you get off the cruise ship. And yes, it's crowded, but they have a pool that's like, 3 city blocks big. It's an enormous pool. And, they've got a swim up bar. There's bars everywhere. And so even though it's crowded, you still have some personal space. And you can find a sun lounger and you can just go chill there. So I still think that the Caribbean is a great place to go take a cruise. If the crowds bother you, just get in the cab and head somewhere else. But Robin, I do see your point. Overcrowding is bumming some people out when it comes to cruising. And hey, if you're a person that just can't take being around that many people, cruising might not be, your cup of tea, and that's okay.
So
Yeah,
Alice
go ahead.
says, for quite a while, me and my hubby considered cruising the best value when it comes to vacation. When there's a choice of land or cruise, the cruise usually wins, but things are changing rapidly lately. Cruising becomes very expensive while the level and quality of service really is going down across the lines. You are paying much more for much less. And um, that's a point I would say because um, in the past, one of the things you would be paying for on a cruise or you would be getting on a cruise is uh, going to these private islands or going to these ports where you feel like you're getting more of a unique experience. And now with so many people coming, it's like it's almost like that's taking away from each individual's experience because they're not able to just have that that exclusive feel to it. And instead you have like what Cruising Chris says is the Royal Beach Club, which is the one I was talking about. The Royal Beach Club is basically a paid excursion that you can only go on if you're on Celebrity or Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
um and I don't know, I feel like a lot of cruise lines are figuring out a way to incorporate that into their cruising philosophy, shall we say, because it's like you pay to go on the cruise ship and it's like that's not enough anymore. They want to have this special thing that you can do where you can only do it. So first you have to get on the cruise ship and then that opens up a door that you can do something else. So, Royal Caribbean has their Royal Beach Club where you can only go there if you're already on the ship. Princess cruises, they have the Star Princess and the Sun Princess, and they have these like the Magic Castle um the Magic Castle bar there that has like the magicians doing tricks with your drinks. You can only have that experience if you get on a not just any princess cruise, but specifically the Sun or the Star Princess. And I think there's a few other examples of things that you can't do them anywhere else except for that one place. And so they want to get you on their cruise ship first and then get you to pay even more money for that exclusive experience.
I think it's the VIP culture that we live in. I think people
Hmm.
want to feel like they're sitting, kind of above the rest of the crowd, and want that VIP treatment. And I think cruise lines know that mentality is going on right now, and they're very much so taking advantage of it. So
And
it's the
and then they
same. It's
have an environment where they can take advantage of it, right? Because they're already having an exclusive group of just the people on the cruise ship. So,
it's the same concept as the ship within a ship concept,
mhm.
like MSC's. What's it called?
Yacht club.
The yacht club, where on even within the cruise ship, you've got places in the Havana on Carnival cruises
Yeah,
where you have to have a special bracelet to get through a particular door, and you had to pay more money for it, and you get your own private pool and different restaurants and stuff like that if you're willing to pay for it. So,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, they
Cruising
know.
Chris says the Utopia Railway. I think that's the new thing coming out with the, um, or is that the on the Utopia of the Seas? The railway is another example, because I know that they're doing a railway on the Legend of the Seas that they just announced.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like a ship within a ship concept too.
Well, that's a restaurant actually.
Oh,
The railway. The railway is a restaurant
on the Legend. Oh,
that's
okay.
gonna be on the Legend. Yeah.
Maybe he's talking about something else because I
Oh,
know I was telling you that that you were telling me about the Legend has that they just announced that they're going to do a railway, but that's not the first railway that they've done on the Royal Caribbean line. I couldn't
yeah.
remember
That
what ship it was
that
though.
restaurant has like you go in the restaurant and it has what looks like windows, but and it has like a train car kind of environment, and then but the windows play like ultra HD movies, so it looks like real life, maybe even better than real life, and they take you to like China and all around the world, and so what you're seeing out the window is like what you would see if you're on a train in all these different countries, which is a fun concept, I'll admit. But my whole gripe with that is like you're already on a cruise ship, so maybe look out the real window and like the fact that you're in, wherever you are in Puerto
Yeah.
Rico or the Caribbean or wherever you are. So I don't know. It's like it's just kind of funny to me that it's not good enough for people to be already on like this amazing, middle of the ocean or tropical paradise. They have to pretend with in this environment that they're on a train in Japan. I don't know, but anyway.
But that's
Uh,
kind of like the armchair traveler phenomenon, right? Because I don't know. I was just noticing that because we just got back from a big trip to Australia and Sri Lanka, and there's so many things that you can look at and read about and watch videos about, and it's almost like you can pre-experience something before you even go there, and then you're like, do you even need to go there anymore? You already experienced it because you're watching all these videos and listening to other people talk about their experience, and you already know what to expect. Um, and I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it because I think if you look at too many of those things and then you go have the experience yourself, it almost takes away from it because it's not your experience anymore. It's just like, I don't know, an affirmation of what everybody else already experienced. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. This is what happens. It's more fun to just experience it yourself the first time. Be surprised.
Robert, take it easy, man. Go
Oh,
enjoy your dinner. I just wanted to say, it looks like he's heading off to dinner. I guess we started a little bit too late. Uh, let's see,
well, it depends on
and
what time zone you're in. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
um,
And Alice was saying she loves Ocean K or Ocean Key. I'm not sure, but MSC's private island, and still free. And then Cruising Chris actually earlier has said that he had an overnight in Ocean Key, which I didn't realize MSC did overnights on their private island.
we should look for a cruise where that happens because I've always said I'd love to do an ocean or a overnight on a private island.
Hmm.
Like if you could stay on the private island till whenever you wanted, that just sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And then wake up and then head back out on the private island for a while. I think that's a great
Or
idea.
could you just find a hammock and sleep in the hammock on the private island? Would they let you do
Probably
that?
not. They probably wouldn't let you do that. Maybe though. I don't know. But I'd like to check out that private island. We have not been there, and you never
Yeah.
hear anything about MSC's private island. I don't know. I'd love to check it out though. I'm sure it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should look into that. All right. So the next reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025 and going into 2026 is onboard shows. The Vegas level production shows, comedians, and random talent nights, all included. It's totally worth it. Absolutely, you're getting the Broadway at sea without the Broadway prices. I'm going to agree with that. I mean, like, if you like to go to shows or if you're a person that doesn't go to a lot of theater when you're in your normal life and you're on a cruise ship and it's just down the hallway, so why not? It's like that's a big perk of cruising. Like, and you're it's like there's never a moment where you're not entertained if you want to be. You could there's no reason to ever get bored on a cruise ship because there's always something going on. You go to dinner and you're like, oh man, I need to get to the show that's going to be starting at this time, and so yeah, there's always something to do. And the shows, some are better than others. There's no doubt about it. But we've seen some really good shows, plays and musicals. Just some of the music and dance shows are actually really fun. magicians, jugglers, and the Mentalist that we saw last time we were on a cruise on the Carnival Luminosa was really, I just recently talked about this, but there was this Mentalist show, and Emily was like, "Let's go see a show tonight, let's." And I was kind of tired,
I
and
can never get him to go see the shows.
I was like, I just had dinner. I just want to kind of, take it easy. And she's like, and I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. And she said, if it's bad, we'll just leave. We've certainly done that. We've left shows before because they're just not that great. But in this case, I went in kind of with a negative attitude, and within 15 minutes, my jaw was open. I was like, how is this guy doing this? This is insane. How is he reading people's minds? How does he know their ATM? It's like people figuring out people's ATM numbers, and mentalist stuff is crazy. I don't know how they do it. They claim that they can read people's minds. I'm not really buying that, but somehow they can figure out like very personal things about people. And he did something where he did it to the entire crowd, uh, having us punch in numbers on the calculator on our cell phone, to the point where at the end of all these numbers he had us punch in, it showed the exact time and date of when he was doing this particular phenomenon. I don't describe it well. I'm not doing it justice, but I will tell you what: if you ever get the chance to go see a good mentalist, do it, especially on a cruise ship. It was fantastic. Like, and the irony of it all, Emily was falling asleep. She was not that impressed, but I, who didn't want to go in the first place, was blown away by this performance. So yeah, the shows, man. We've seen some really good shows. Royal Caribbean has the ice rinks on some of their ships. That was
That was
wild.
really cool.
There was these guys throwing these women up in the air while they're ice skating. They're doing like 4 flips,
Actually,
spins,
it
and
was really cool, but I think the entire audience at one point was just like holding their breath, just like, I don't want to watch your brains be spattered across the ice. I mean, it was like,
they
it was a
were
little bit
really
intense.
talented people, nobody got hurt. I can't
Yeah.
believe nobody got hurt. They were throwing these people across this ice rink. They're spinning through the air. It's really impressive stuff. And it's like you don't. I'm not going to see that when I'm at home. It's like a really kind of a cool part of cruising. That is definitely a reason the cruising is still worth it in 2025.
Just to backtrack a little bit, did some answers on Ocean Key. Alice said, wait, now I lost it. Alice said their night party on the Ocean Key is epic. So they do stuff at night.
Oh, nice.
And then Cruising Chris said he had to be back on the ship by 11:55 p.m. and then it opened back up at 7 a.m. So I guess you can't sleep on the island, but you can, like, they have a nice party going on, and so they must have quite a few cruises that do that if they have something planned around the cruises that do overnights.
I'm super glad that we found that out. I
Yeah.
seriously want to do that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And then Alice said that they stopped cruising on with Norwegian when they drastically cut all live entertainment. Now they just have Wheel of Fortune and Deal or No Deal. So I didn't realize that, actually. But with I'm curious on Norwegian, because we've seen the Deal or No Deal on Carnival, and it's fine. I guess it's fine to go watch it, but it's not a real game show. I mean, it's kind of a mocked up game show, and it would be cool if you could actually participate in it. But in order to participate in the Deal or No Deal, you have to buy like a lottery ticket
Yeah.
to get a chance to participate in it, and the lottery ticket isn't cheap. I don't remember how much it was, but so I think I don't know, that is something that I'm not interested in. And we have seen the show on Carnival, the Deal or No Deal, but only because we happened to be walking by at the time and we just poked our heads in, and I don't think we stayed more than 10 minutes.
Some people complain about gas prices. Some people complain about the price of eggs. But how about the price of bingo on a cruise ship?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's just out of control. You got to drop like $100 to play bingo on a cruise ship these days, and your odds of winning
your chances, like, you're going to win $150.
At least when you get the eggs, you get some eggs. Anyway, yeah.
So Cruising Chris said they also have open skating on the ice rinks too. My wife loves doing that, and it's free. So I have a story about that, because I really wanted to do that as well when we were on Royal Caribbean, and I went down, to ice skate, and I did not realize, I don't know if I didn't read closely enough, but it wasn't actually ice skating, it was to sign up for the ice skating time. And
Yeah, you didn't end up doing it, did
and
you?
I didn't end up doing it, but so I got down there, and every other person down there was an adult with children. And there was a child that was not mine that was standing in front of me, and then there was me, an adult, by myself. And so the kid didn't look like me, and I wasn't like, we weren't, interacting in any way. I think it was probably pretty clear that we were together. But when we got up to the front, the crew member was like so confused, and she was like, well, to the little kid, was like, well, you need an adult. And then she looks at me, and I'm like, oh no, I am not responsible for this child. I am not this responsible adult for this kid. And so the kid had to leave and couldn't sign up because he had to get an adult's permission in order to go ice skating. And then they told me that that the next slot that was open was going to be, I don't remember, but it was going to be like less than a half hour before we were supposed to eat, and we were supposed to eat with, a larger group. And I was just like, okay, never mind. It's not. So I never got to go ice skating on the ship, and I was really disappointed. Cruising Chris, hopefully next time I'm on a Royal Caribbean ship, they will have an ice rink, because I think the Grandeur doesn't have an ice rink. So
No.
yeah.
So yeah, the next reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025, going into 2026, is the vacation afterglow. 1 week of pure pamper, 1 week of pure pampering makes real life feel manageable again. Worth it? You returned recharged, tan, and with a phone full of proof that you actually relaxed. I totally agree with that. Like, it's something that I've talked about recently is the difference between a land vacation and a cruise vacation is the cruise vacation probably is just going to go smooth. Cruise lines have things worked out really well. So generally speaking, you're just going to have a fantastic time on the cruise. Whereas if on a land-based vacation, there's a lot of logistics that you have to take care of that if you're on a cruise, they would take care of for you. So that's kind of a big difference. And so
I
if you
think
want,
the worst thing that might happen on your cruise is that somebody takes the last eclair right before you get there,
yeah,
and you have to wait.
or that last chicken tender. I mean,
Yeah, or the last chicken tender, right?
that might result in
That could
bad
ruin your
things.
cruise. That could
So,
totally ruin your cruise.
so anyway, yeah. So the after effect, the feeling when you get back from a cruise that is genuinely relaxing. You had some drinks, if you like to do that. You were on a sun lounger, you were in the water, you were around positive people, positive vibes, a lot of laughter. You're watching movies if you want, you're doing trivia, you're just having a good time. You're not worrying about really anything because the cruise staff is taking care of that for you. You get home, you got to go back to work, whatever, and you actually feel like you had a vacation. It wasn't just work. You went and did what you love to do. You listened to a lot of great music, danced, partied. You did whatever it is that you like to do, and you have just kind of a glow about you when you get back from it. So that is a reason that cruising is still worth it. That's worth the price of admission. Not to mention that your cruise probably costed less than your land vacation anyway,
Mhm.
and you got to see some beautiful places. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great reason that cruising is still worth it in 2025.
Yeah, Alice says that's what attracted us to cruising in the first place. You can be very active or do nothing to relax. And I would add that you also can, if whoever you're cruising with wants to be really active and you're feeling lazy, that's fine. They can go off and do things by themselves, and vice versa. If you have different tastes, you don't always have to be doing things together. A cruise, it's also like a really safe environment where you're not going to feel like you're going to get lost or get separated from whoever you're traveling with. They're somewhere on the ship, so you'll find them eventually. Probably when you reunite at the MDR for your dinner time, and then you can talk about the various adventures that you had. And it's not like you have to be stuck together all the time. So I think that's a plus for a lot of people too, especially families. Um, I could see that as being a big plus.
So those of you that are watching right now, if you haven't already, give us a subscribe. We do this every Saturday. We've been doing this every Saturday for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or something like that. I don't
Hmm.
think we've missed one. And we talk about different cruising subjects. If you love to cruise, if you love to travel, if you want to learn more about cruising, definitely give us a sub. Just wanted to put that in there. And so I'm going to go over to some of the reasons that people might say that cruising is not worth it anymore. And so we've talked about crowds and over tourism. Guess we could touch on over tourism. There's definitely some ports where people don't necessarily want you there. Some of the people in the area, and mostly it's in Europe, like in Mykonos and Santorini and Paris has, or not Paris, but France.
Nice. Nice, right?
Nice, France has some issues with the cruise ships coming in. But you and I, Emily, had an experience in Alaska where there are some of the people that live in Alaska at these cruise
That's
port
yeah.
stops that don't really want people there. I'd say, in fact, there's a lot of politicking going on about that. There's certainly advocate groups that are trying to reduce the amount of cruise ships that come in,
Yeah.
but it does bring
What
money into
what
Alaska.
was
But
it? We
well,
saw them say like "Go home cruisers" or something written on their
yeah,
house. I think
we
is what it was.
Emily and I were walking to take a hike in Alaska, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Go take an Alaska cruise. Just go ahead and book it right now. Take an Alaska cruise. It's so great. But anyway, we were walking in I think, was it Juneau? I
I
think it
think
was
it was
Juneau.
Juneau.
And we were walking up this hill to get to this hike because there's always a hill to that hike. And there's somebody had a big banner, a giant banner that they paid probably a lot of money for, probably hundreds of dollars, that said, "Go home, cruisers." That, anybody that walks up that hill on that side street
Can't
is going
miss
to
it.
see. It wasn't the most welcoming thing I've ever seen, but they have a right to express their opinion.
It
But
wasn't very welcoming, but I don't know. I think we both laughed about it.
we did, and I took a picture of it. I'm sure a lot of people do. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny. I feel bad for them because I can see they've got every day they've got a steady stream of cruise tourists walking past their house.
Yeah.
Most of the time they don't even see locals; they just see tourists. And
Yeah.
I can understand that being annoying. I will say, you live in Juneau, Alaska. What do you expect, man? I mean, if you move to a different location, I'm not saying you just. It sucks that you would have to move. I mean, I get it. You have a home. Maybe you've lived there for generations. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I can see their argument. But Juneau, Alaska would really suffer if they didn't get the
Hmm.
dollars coming in from cruise ships. I mean, that brings in so much money, so many jobs. It makes
Yeah.
it so that people can actually make a living in this very desolate, middle of
Yeah.
nowhere kind of area, a very beautiful area. But yeah, so I don't. I guess I don't feel too bad for them, but I can see why it would be annoying to look out your window and constantly see a tourist walking
Yeah.
by.
It's a
Um,
hard thing to balance the right of somebody that lives there to be able to live their life without being constantly pestered versus the right of somebody coming from afar to appreciate, the natural beauty of Alaska. I mean, is that would be kind of like gatekeeping, right? If you say that people can't come to Alaska unless they're, committing to living there for a long time. So, and the same goes for, Mykonos and Nice and everywhere else. It's like, I don't know. It is a tough thing to balance. I can see both sides. But cruising, Chris has a cruise book to Alaska for July of next year, so that is going to be awesome on the Star Princess, no less.
nice. That's going to be
So
amazing.
yeah. And Alice says Bar Harbor, Maine, a small town we visited 2 years ago, suddenly decided to limit cruising. Their whole economy depends on tourism, and the small business can't survive without cruisers. And yeah, if your government, the city council or whoever suddenly decides, hey, we're not going to let cruisers in, and you've built your small business around tourist dollars coming in, I mean that would kind of suck. And as small business owners, Joe and I have owned a small business, and that would be really frustrating if you found that out. And like, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. If the city council just says, "Hey, we're going to do this," you don't really have much of a recourse. So,
Yeah.
but Alice said, personally, we will not spend money where we are not welcomed. And yeah, I get that opinion. I get that feeling
I
too.
think they'd probably, if everybody had that opinion, they'd change their tune pretty fast on
Hmm.
not welcoming people.
Yeah. Um, and Cruising Chris says they only have tours 4 months out of the year in Alaska, I think he's referring to, but it brings in huge amounts of money for the communities.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's true because I think some of them, they just basically just work like steady jobs, anyways. I mean, I'm sure they're doing other things throughout the rest of the year, but like the main amount of their yearly income is coming when those tourists are there. And it's kind of like the fair here, right? Minnesota State Fair is really huge, and you hear about these people that have a booth at the state fair, and they can just work those 2 weeks, and then basically they get to do whatever they want for the rest of the year. And
not
yeah,
a
those
bad
two
life.
weeks are crazy, I'm sure, and it's like a lot of hard work and a lot of stress goes into that. And if something happens with your booth or your vendors or the weather or whatever, it's like that's stressful, but the payoff is you only have to work 2 weeks a year. So I think a lot of people would be willing to do that. Um, and then one more comment here. Robin says, I'm happy to say I've been to these popular places except for one, Venice. It excites me new places are building ports. Uh, yeah, it is interesting to see that there are a lot of new places adding ports that haven't been overwhelmed by cruising yet. So,
Yeah, it's really
um,
it's telling to see, and I can't think of there's several new ports being built in really cool places. You're right about that, Robin. And I can't think of what they are exactly right now, but I've been reading about them. And what's telling is that those those ports that are just opening or going to be opened, they're super excited about bringing in
mhm,
the cruise ships because it's going to bring in a bunch of money to their communities. They're going to suddenly have like a lot of wealth,
yeah,
and people are going to, us cruisers are going to be able to experience these places.
yeah.
But
And
the
maybe it'll
places like
take pressure off of the other ports too, you
it
know?
might, but in the places like Santorini and Mykonos that are, very amazing places, they're uh they're on the opposite end of the spectrum where they're burnt out from all the tourism. But like I say, that tourism I think is a gift in the end because it brings in so many dollars to that community. So,
Yeah.
but I think we have talked about that enough. Let's go to let's go back to I like the positive side of things better myself. So we are going to talk about reasons that cruise ships or that cruising in 2025 is still worth it. Let's see. For the right person with the right itinerary, it's worth it for relaxation, unique experiences, avoiding flights, and people that are interested in exhibitions and wellness. So, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of reasons right there, actually, why cruising is still worth it. You can get spa treatments. If you have a ton of money, spa spa treatments are extremely expensive on cruise ships.
But it's not just the spa treatments, when you're talking about wellness, because you can go in and get like a free analysis. Like they'll do they always have the foot guy out where it's like you stand on this thing and then they figure out that you're not eating enough vitamin D or something just because of your foot. I don't know. I've never actually done it, but they always have a free health analysis like that, which of course is geared towards selling you something, but you don't have to buy it. And then they also have like a lot of cruise lines are now like the Vitality Cafe on Royal Caribbean and the Princess. I can't remember the Princess cruise lines, but they have one too where they're offering these health drinks, like smoothies that have tons of vitamins and nutrients and fresh fruit in them, and um, so it doesn't have to just be the spa, and it doesn't. It's not just
Doesn't have
like
to be
the
expensive.
the
Yeah, I
two
mean,
hundred dollar massages.
you're absolutely right. If you can afford those, though, go for it.
Yeah.
So, um, how about the formal night glow up? One night to dust off those fancy clothes and feel like royalty. Free professional photos and the chance to pretend like you're on the red carpet instead of the Lido deck. I don't even say instead of the Lido deck. I think the Lido deck is the red carpet. So yeah, formal night is obviously something that people really enjoy on a cruise. People, will pack an extra suitcase just to bring a few formal night outfits and really get dressed up, look really good. And then you have endless photographers wanting to take your picture. And something that that happened to Emily and I once was the photographer was really bad at his job. There are good photographers, but do you want to go into that, Em?
You want me to tell the story this time?
If you want, or I can. But yeah,
So
go for it.
okay, I'll tell the story.
All
So
right.
we were on an Alaska cruise, and they had, they always have a whole bunch of different backdrops, but they had this one backdrop that we walked by, and it was just like, what is going on there? So they had a mountain in the background, they had a helicopter landing, they had a guy on a sled mushing with the entire dog sled team there. And the way that these go is like they're on the back wall and then they kind of curve. So the dog sled team is like, it starts off with the guy kind of on the wall, but then the dog sled team goes and they're actually on the floor. So you have to like stand on the dogs to get your picture taken. It was the most bizarre
And I just
backdrop, though.
I just want to make sure it's clear to everybody. This is the backdrop. So
Yeah.
like they've got the professional lighting on these different backdrops. A lot of the backdrops are like, a cruise ship, a tropical island,
Or like a
a,
classy room
classy
somewhere.
room, bed of roses, something like
Yeah.
that. It's the old school green screen, is what it
Yeah.
is.
And so this one happened to be this really, weird, this picture that had way too much going on to be used as a photography backdrop, in my opinion. And I walked by it, and that's what I was thinking. And Joe walked by it, and I think he was actually thinking the same thing, but he turned around. He was like, "This is hilarious. I want to take a crazy picture in front of
I
it."
just thought it
But
was bizarre. Yeah.
but he didn't actually say anything to me. He just turned around and is like starts to, you know, get in the scene. And then the photographer, his eyes light up. He's like, "Yes, a customer." And suddenly I don't even know what's going on, but I am being instructed to do all these weird poses and put my hand on my hip and turn my head in a particular way. And the camera flash is going off a million times, and I'm like trying to be like, I don't know, Joe indicated he wanted to do this, so I'm just trying to go with the flow and be happy about it. But finally Joe is like, "All right, enough. We're out." And then he just leaves. And then as we're, after we got away from the photographer a little bit, he's like, "I just thought that that was a crazy backdrop. It was bizarre. I want to take a funny picture."
So the photographer, these ship photographers, they have these fancy cameras. You expect them to just be really talented people. You expect you're getting, and I know some of them are, but not all of them. This guy took the worst picture of us we've ever had taken. That backdrop was just, part of it, but the way that he had us posing, it was it was completely outside of our personalities. I think a good picture is when you capture the personality of the person in the picture. And this picture just made us look super awkward. It was just not it was not great.
Every
It was
aspect of
supposed to
that
be a
photo shoot
joke,
was not good.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, not every photographer on a cruise ship is amazing at their job, but some of those backdrops are actually beautiful. Getting your picture taken when you dress up on formal night, getting that special lobster tail dinner, or steak or whatever you're gonna get, looking really good. You've got on your beautiful dress or your nice, suit or jacket or tux or whatever it is that you like to wear, and you just feel really good. You do your hair. Yeah, I mean that's a fun part of cruising. It's not it's not for everybody, but the people that do enjoy that really enjoy it. So that is a reason to cruise in 2025 for sure.
I remember it was on one of our, not our first cruise, but one of our early cruises, and we weren't really doing the formal night so much, and and I think we had maybe just skipped it that night, and we ended up walking down to the main floor on the cruise ship. I think it was the Carnival Conquest, and there was just it was just like this whole lineup of people dressed in like such stunning outfits. And there was actually a line for particular photographers and particular backdrops, and everybody was just getting their picture taken and like really hamming it up and
Yeah.
having a great time. And that's when I was like, well, I didn't bring any clothes that fancy because I didn't want to pack an extra suitcase. So and we weren't really doing elaborate formal nights. But I think after that cruise, I went out and found a couple of outfits that were like not going to take up too much space in the luggage so that we could do some formal nights because that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it is a cool concept. Nothing wrong with getting dressed up and feeling good on the cruise. Um, another thing that is, did we talk about people watching?
You did mention that. I think
Uh,
you really like that one though.
I do really like that one. I love people watching on the cruise. The fact, so here's something that some people say that cruising's not worth it in 2025, and that is seasickness. Here's the thing, guys. Seasickness is almost not a thing anymore. Seriously, cruise ships have insanely good stabilizers. Like uh you can bear a lot of the time, and they're huge, and they have these amazing stabilizers. You seriously don't even remember you're on the water unless you look out the window. When you're on the cruise ship sometimes. We Sure, there's occasions where you feel a little bit, but unless you're really, really sensitive to motion sickness, you're not going to have seasickness. So in 2025, 2026, you don't really need to worry about seasickness unless you're one of those rare people that can't handle any movement whatsoever. And the movement that you do feel when you're laying in bed and the ship is just kind of rocking at night, it just makes you sleep really good. It just kind of lulls you to sleep. So seasickness is not really, I don't think, a thing anymore. Sure, there's exceptions, but for the most part, you don't really need to worry about the ship rocking around too much.
Yeah.
That is a reason to keep cruising.
So I just want to say, Robin just said, used to do formal night, love the photos when it was a family cruise. Now knocking on 70's door and usually solo, I skip it, but would still recommend it for a family. And I just want to say, I think that's great that you enjoyed it while you were, cruising with a family. But even as a single, maybe that's the best time to enjoy the photos because otherwise, you're stuck doing the selfie thing and you have to take your own pictures, and this is a great way to get a picture of yourself taken and be able to have those memories um, with an actually good frame of yourself in the frame properly instead of like awkwardly holding the camera out.
Yeah.
So uh, but yeah, it's good that you have those memories also from past cruises with your whole family.
So, one more reason that it is a great idea and that cruising still is worth it in 2025 is the family bonding. Kids clubs, water slides, mini golf. Parents get a break while the kids think it's Disney World on water, especially if you're on a Disney cruise. Worth it for those rare moments when everyone in the family is happy at the same time. Absolutely. We've Emily and I a lot of times cruise just with the two of us. We find ourselves to be happy, but we see families around us that are just having a blast. They at least appear to be really happy, and we certainly have cruised with other family members in the past, and that really is a great bonding experience. It's a great way to just like make memories together that are outside of the home, and the cruise lines are really good at accommodating you
Mhm.
and giving you opportunities to make those memories. That you can play games, you can go to trivia together, you can go swimming. I mean, all these things that you're doing together, you're going to make memories. That is for sure a reason to keep cruising in 2025 and 2026. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. What's your take, Em?
Yeah, I actually the other thing I would say is the main dining room phenomenon of where you can, I mean, you don't have to, but you can do the either the early or the late time where you're like, no, okay, dinner is going to be at this particular time. And I think for a lot of families, I mean, at least me growing up, mom was like, dinner is at this time. It was usually in in the same time period. So I think that's a pretty normal thing for families to expect dinner at a particular time. And I've heard so many family groups saying, okay, we're not all together for the entire day. You have one or two of us, three or four going off and doing different things, especially when you're looking at like a multi-generational family trip. But then we all come together and you have those giant tables that fit like 10 people, and the whole family can come together around this dinner table in the main dining room, and you talk about what you did, you share experiences, you get to reunite with everybody, maybe sit next to a different person every night from your extended family, and that really cements the fun memories that you can have on a cruise. together. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a something that you don't get in regular life as much as would be liked, especially since families these days often live so far apart, different cities, different parts of the world. Just being able to come together and enjoy that all in
Yeah, I
one
mean,
place, I think is fun.
and the main dining brings families together in that you're all sharing a meal. That's in this day and age, you don't always get that where the
Hmm.
families share meals at dinner
Yeah,
every
even
night. So
families where you're just looking at the immediate family that you live in the same house with. A lot of times,
yeah,
brother's got a soccer game, sister's got gymnastics. You don't eat at the same time. So, yeah.
yeah. Many reasons to keep cruising, people. There are a few reasons why cruising maybe isn't what it used to be, but there's also a lot of reasons why cruising is even more than it used to be. I'm on the positive side of things for sure. I'm going to keep cruising. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's going to do it for this live stream. For crying out loud, give us a sub, give us a subscription. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and thank you guys. We'll see you next Saturday. We're here every Saturday. We're Embrace Today. I'm Joe. This is Emily, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.